Welcome to the European Teams User Group Meet. I think that's the first time I said it right. I guess so. And I'm Adam Deltinger, and modern workplace consultant in Sweden. I'm co-hosting this with my friend Chris Hord. Unfortunately, I don't think he could attend today. I saw him jump in just now. I don't think if he's present or not, but I'm not counting on it. So I'm running this on my own this month. All right. Just like a quick rolled up what's this all about. This is a new user group started in March 2019 by me and Chris. And we're doing this for we thought there was like a missing piece of like a community for the European area. So we started this for people passionate about Microsoft Teams in countries in Europe to attend and learn new stuff, and also get an opportunity to actually speak as well, and do all these kinds of things as well. So, and yes, we have two speakers today. We should have had three speakers, but unfortunately, due to some technical issues, the third speaker, she couldn't attend. So, we have Rick van Roussalt doing his Microsoft Teams development part 3. It's your last part, unfortunately.
That's correct.
Yes. I'll give you a couple of months of break, but I think we'll have a part 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I can keep on going and going and going as well.
Yeah, there's so much happening in the development area for Microsoft Teams. You could just say look at the sessions from Microsoft Build, with the message extensions and all those things. There's a ton to show there, I think. And also we have Laurent Carlier. I don't know if did I say that right? Laurent Carlier.
Yeah, it's Laurent Carlier, but yeah, whatever.
In the French accent, yeah.
Yeah. So
Laurent Carlier. Okay, right.
Yeah.
And you're going to talk about Microsoft Teams for Education.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been really looking forward to that because I know my way around Teams quite well, I guess, but the educational areas, it's a bit I haven't been exploring that much. So I'm really looking forward to learn more about that.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
me as well. I know we have one customer who's a school who has deployed Teams, but haven't been involved in that project. So yeah, I'm really curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I think we should start off. Rick, are you ready?
Yep. Let me share my screen.
Yeah.
And normally you should see something.
Yeah.
In the top corner somewhere, out of the way. And then we're good to go. So, this one from April. I copy pasted my slide. So yeah, this is part 3. Last time we talked about tabs. So we already know how to build a tab, which is still the easiest way to get started with Teams development. And yeah, it's also, I still believe it's the most return on investment part, because yeah, many companies already have, applications, put them in a tab and 2 minutes work and they're super happy about it. So yeah, still the best part of my feeling is. Yeah, bots, we already covered that one. So yeah, chatbots all the way. And we ended last time with connectors. Now, today we're going to proceed with message extensions. Now, to be careful, it's called message extensions, but it used to be called compose extensions. So Microsoft marketing probably changed the name because message extensions sounded cooler than compose extensions. But if you search for something on Google, or if you look in the manifest or whatever, type in compose extensions, because otherwise you won't find anything. So yeah, a few parts of the documentation have already been updated, but not everything yet. So keep in mind, compose extension is also the name for it. So message extensions. So what's it? Well, it integrates your app directly in the chat, so it makes it easier to integrate an existing app already in your chat, or get information from your app into that channel or into a conversation and post that information. And okay, it uses the bot framework like many things in Teams. It uses, or misuses, you might call it, the bot framework, because the Teams team needed some kind of development platform, so they used the bot framework for it. Now, with it, I'll first give it demo. No, I'll first do this. So the difficult thing about it is you have 5 seconds to respond. So if somebody calls your message extension, you have to respond within 5 seconds. We'll see that in a few minutes. It's if you're debugging within 5 seconds, Teams will give you an error, but while you're developing, your code will still be running. So it's it doesn't matter if you're debugging, but make sure that if you, I don't know, if you connect Teams to an on-prem backend database somewhere that's from the 90s or something that's really slow, then build in some caching system, because don't do SQL queries that run 2 minutes, because then Teams will always say there's been an error. There's also the possibility to do a default query. So if you put in the manifest initial run to true, then it will always do the default query. And you can also make sure that somebody who uses it can see his recently viewed items and his favorites. And every request, because it uses the bot framework, has information about the user. So that already helps. You can already start filtering stuff out depending on, I don't know, the department of the user or something like that. So what do we do set up in the manifest? Well, we just add in compose. See, here it is, compose extension. So not message extension. You cannot change the manifest that easily without breaking changes. As you can see here, this is our bot ID. So it uses the bot framework. It uses the same bot we did in the previous examples or in the previous sessions, just the same bot ID. We can have 2 scopes, of course, a team scope and a personal scope. So team scope means I can put it in a team and in a channel. A personal scope is one-on-one. I don't see that many use cases for a personal one, because then I would just be talking to myself and add to a bot and then put in a message extension there, which would be weird, but okay. It's available, but never used. Then can update configuration, same thing. Can we configure it afterwards again? And then we can set up some default commands. The first one is search command, and then search text, but I'll give you a quick demo about it. So of course I already have ngrok running, because I need something to talk to my Visual Studio that's running on my local host. As you can see here, my compose extension, I just have one command. It's called the search command. I give it a description, a title, initial run false, because I want some user to type it. And then my parameters, which are my name, description, and title. And if I go to Teams, if I can get out of this meeting, let's go to a team. There we go. So do conversation. My compose extension is actually something, this is a compose extension, something that shows up here. So if I want to give information really quickly to my team out of another system, I don't know, let's say for instance I'm a recruiter and I want something from LinkedIn already, then I can build a compose extension that really quickly finds a connection on LinkedIn. Or if I'm from, I don't know what, from the HR department, then I can write it a compose extension that quickly finds information in the HR database backend about somebody I'm talking about. So that makes it easier to visualize what you're talking about. So I've built this one, as you can see here, it's this one, and here I can just enter my search text. So you see here, enter your search text, search bot channels. So this is my description, search bots channels, and enter your search text as well. Now, the moment I start typing something, so let's say I type Teams, it goes to my backend and it searches something, and it returns a adaptive card that sends Microsoft Teams. So normally it should be, where did it go? Where's my conversation now? They keep changing. There we go. Should be in here. It's something like this. You get an adaptive card, which is an old one because it's not from today, but you get like an adaptive card without, this could be a person, some information about a backend system. Can be anything. Now, how does this work in the backend? That's because of the new conversation thing. I can maybe do a one-on-one chat better. How does this work in the backend? Well, it misuses the bot frame. I'm going to slide this over to the left. So we still come in with our message controller. So if it's a message, I'll put a breakpoint here so you can see it. So if I use my message extension, search for Teams, we already come in. So it's not a message, of course, we're not typing something. It's not a conversation update. I didn't join the conversation. So it's something called an invoke activity. So something happened. So let's handle this invoke. Now, because I know it's search command and search text, parameter is search text, and the command ID was a search command. So how do I know it? It's from my manifest. So ID search command, search text. This enables that you can have multiple. So made it real simple with search command and search text, but you can have multiple parameters and multiple commands in there. And where were we? Here we go. So make sure that it's a compose extension. And then we loop to a few things and we start building a compose extension result, it's called, but this time it's just an adaptive card, actually makes it easier. I'm just looking up in a result data. I have some a list somewhere with some data, and there we go, and we have some data. What's in there? Come on, open up. It's a card with an image. As you can see, the card image, the MS Teams image. That's in the adaptive card. We built the adaptive card in backend code. We add it and we send it back. Now, as I said, see, unable to reach app. I only had 5 seconds to respond. It's no problem because yeah, my code is still running, but it will never show up. So unable to reach app. So if you building, it's a little bit awkward that okay, everything seems to be working, but it's not working. Why? Because yeah, I didn't go to my code within 5 seconds, which is unless you're Superman, you can't do that. So I have to do it again. Now I should be fast enough, and there we go, Microsoft Teams. And why does this keep on happening? Let's put it in a reply. Might be easier. There we go. Within 5 seconds. That was 5 seconds. There it is. There's my Teams. Yeah, with the new conversation stuff, it's not working perfectly. So that just shows up in my text field. So it's still not posted to the channel. So I still have to press enter and then it's posted to the channel. We can use it for multiple things. So it makes it easier to integrate also a backend system or an existing app in Teams. Now, this was just a simple example because you just search for something in the backend. But nowadays, so first there was search, but nowadays we also have action. So we can send back actions. So I'll put this somewhere. So we can have static actions where Teams will do a rendering from your data for you. So it will render a form for you. So if you put this in the manifest, so you reassign a to-do item, create a to-do type action, yeah, okay. So Teams will do that for you. Or dynamic, which means that yeah, you can do whatever you want. You get some kind of type of pop-up which you can fill up whatever you want. It can be a YouTube movie, it can be custom, totally UX screen, whatever you want. Always keep in mind that make it look a little bit like Teams. Don't make it look like something totally different because then you confuse your users. But you can do whatever you want in that area. So there's a lot of cool things to come. Those things are still in preview, so you have to be careful with putting that in production as well. So I already did the demo. Then the next part is activity feed integration. So we can just let's say, for instance, if we want an app that only enters information into my activity feed. As you can see here, this one, somebody made a pull request in Azure DevOps, or let's say you have, I don't know, an emergency system that if there's a fire in some kind of building, you send it out to everybody in the activity feed that everybody knows, okay, time to clear out the building, or there was a fire or an emergency in some kind of building. So it's called an activity feed integration. Now, like the message extensions before, it also uses the bot framework API. So actually it's a little for the small thing you get. So you get like a notification in your activity feed. So if I go here, it's one of those activities. So for that, you have to build an entire bot, which is it's a little bit, it's a lot of work for just getting something in the activity feed. Now, how does it work? Well, actually your bot just sends a message to Teams, but you have to flag it to appear in the activity feed. You just say, okay, this is a notification message, and then it comes into the activity feed. Within the activity feed, we can use deep linking to navigate the user to content. So let's say, for instance, in this activity feed, like do I have one here? Yeah, it sends me back almost immediately to a channel. So we can also use that one. And we can also create a notification only bot, it's called. So a bot that the only thing it does is send things to the activity feed. So it's a lot of work, but still might come in handy sometimes. Now, how does that work? Well, let's it's also a message. So I'll first show you how it's worked. Wait, let me give you a example. Let's talk to my bot. There we go. Ask him to ping me. So wait, I'll show it first. Yeah. Next one. Okay. So normally it should ping me. Where did it go? Is it in my feed? Yeah, there we go. We had one feed. It was because I had already had it open. So let's do it again. Let's see if it helps. If I have it closed, there we go. We have another one. So it also sends back text. This one is a duplicate bot. Actually, it sends back text and it sends back some notification. So how does it work? Let's do it one more time. So that's because I want to trigger it. Normally you should have an external trigger somewhere. So like I said, if there was an emergency or something, but now I want to trigger it from Teams. So I have to talk to it. It comes in my dialog. And if it says ping for this one, because I reuse it for multiple things, then the only thing that matters actually is sending a reply or create a reply or make an activity or send some text and set this flag, notify user. It's just a true or false flag that sets it to notify the user. Okay, we add some other additional text for this little demo, but normally this should be enough. Notify user, and then it comes back and it gives me something in my activity feed, as you can see here. So yeah, maybe a little bit of overkill for something just as small in the activity feed. And you should be aware, don't fill up a user's activity feed with a lot of activities, because then nobody will look at them anymore. So because people come in the morning, the activity feed is already full with people who tag the persons or tag the channel they're in or something like that. So could be keep on going like that. Now the next one, where were we? Demo we did, outgoing webhooks. So we had an incoming webhook, so we could send some information into Teams, but we can also tell Teams to send some information out. It's also called custom bots. Why? Well, it's the easy way to extend Teams without the need of building a full bot, so you can get some information of some kind of notification out of Teams, and you don't need to build a full bot. Problem is, it listens to add mentions, and you of course have to first authenticate the caller. Why? There's no bot framework API around it, so you have no information about the user. So the outgoing webhooks also have no access to the non-messaging API. So if I build a bot, I can see, okay, who's in the team and what people are in that team, and I can call people from that team and send messages to that team. Yeah, that's not possible with outgoing webhooks. Therefore they can also not post into a channel proactively. Okay, you can build if you use an outgoing webhook and an incoming webhook, then you got some kind of custom bot system going around, but still limited, but it can be used. And of course, also outgoing webhooks can use cards, but they cannot use button actions like invoken. So like I showed in the previous session, where you could have an adaptive card which has an action where you can send feedback and stuff like that. So this one's the next one. I'll first show this one. So I have an outgoing webhook here somewhere. Let me see. I have a team somewhere. Let me manage team. And normally I should have an app, which is as you can see, an outgoing webhook. So you just add here, see in the bottom, create an outgoing webhook. You give it a name. You give, of course, your URL, because there has to be some code running that accepts the webhook. And you can give it a description and an image. Now, if I want to use that webhook, I first have to tag it. So as you can see here, I'll use this one again. So it's called SPS events. So I always have to mention it, and then I can just say hello webhook. There we go. It will come in my code. So I have some kind of API running. I also have it in the same solution. Normally it can be an Azure function, or it could be something else. But to make it simple, I have it in the same solution. So this is just an API that's being called. So we get some information. What's in that information? Well, of course, the message ID. Where is it coming from? So it's from, this looks like a Skype for Business or Teams URL. This looks like a channel ID. This looks like my name. So we already have my name with my Active Directory object ID, a conversation ID. It looks like it's a group. So that also helps. So you have some information, but you don't have all the information. And then, of course, this is a text. So at SPS events, hello webhook. So we have to get everything out of there. And then we can just send something back. I have an incoming activity. Let's see what it does. I have to be fast, of course. That's the same with webhooks. And with message extensions, you have to be a little bit faster. There we go. So I just built something simple. I can call everything. Let's see, for instance, if I say, okay, at SPS events, I can say, send me a rich card. Then it will just create a rich card for me and it will send it back. See, so there is there is some use cases with this one, because you can make it simple, make a simple webhook, send some information back, as you can see, view an article, see, so there you can open up a URL. Okay, this is not a valid URL, but you can send in the URL. So there is some use cases about it, because yeah, it's way easier if you have an existing API or existing. It should be a little bit focused on Teams, so you could be that. But if you have an existing application with minor changes, you can make it that the information is sent into Teams if you know what you want in there, and it's not too much. And something like this is enough. So, and of course, outgoing webhook. If I now send an incoming webhook as well, then yeah, we can create a custom bot talking back and forward. But still, a bot would be a little bit simpler. Now we come to the cool part. This is, I think it's already been announced. I think was it announced, a few things. So we also are getting calling bots now in Teams, which is pretty cool. Now, one thing we have to know is that, okay, if we have meetings, or me and you, we now have a meeting. Why? It's multiple people. It was a time set, and we have a meeting. Or I can just call you. That's an ad hoc an ad hoc call. So humans actually have two types of meeting. I can just call you, which is ad hoc, or we can have a scheduled call, which is a meeting. But for a bot, bot doesn't think that way. A meeting, it's just a multi-party call, so a call with multiple people, but still, it's just a call for a bot. Okay, there is additional metadata, so as a chat ID or a join URL or a start time or an end time, but for a call, for a bot, there's no added, there's no difference between a meeting or a call. So a bot can have a one-on-one call, or a bot can have a group call. And it doesn't matter if it's a meeting or just the moment you have a one-on-one call, it's just one person. The moment somebody is added, it's a group call. And if it was already preset at a given date, like a meeting, doesn't matter to the bot. The only problem is you need, of course, additional permissions from the Azure Active Directory. So if you create an Azure Active Directory app for your bot, of course, you're going to need additional permissions. Why? Because to call somebody and to join a group call, normally a one-on-one call is no additional permissions required, but for calling themselves, so if I call a bot, then no permissions are no additional ones are required. But if a bot wants to call somebody, or if the bot wants to join a group call or access the media, then you have to give additional permissions in your Active Directory. Now, the possibilities are endless. So I think everybody has been in that meeting where you had a meeting planned for you. So somebody planned a meeting. Okay, we're gonna have a meeting at 3, and then the guy doesn't show up at 3, or is 5 minutes or 10 minutes late. So so you can have some kind of system that already that checks if somebody's late in a meeting and then finds it. So let's say, for instance, so I have okay, you're not gonna hear the bot because, okay, I'm gonna have 2 calls at once. So I'll have the call in but I'll try to say what the bot says. So let's say I have an endpoint. I'm gonna send some call to that endpoint. And what does the bot will do? Well, it will just call me. Normally, if everything goes well. There we go. No. There's my bot. Come on, call me. Send it again. And that's probably because I'm presenting. I'll put it back to available here. There we go. Yep, do not disturb. That was the case. So let's do it one more time. There we go. And I get 2 phone calls as well because I have Teams open in my should be the one from Chrome. So let's try it. There we go. So now the bot's telling me, okay, you're actually late for the meeting. So if you want to join the meeting, press 1. So I can detect keypads. I press 1, and there we go. Now the bot hangs up on me, and it's redirecting me to a meeting. And now I'm normally, if we are added, there we go. Yep, I'm in the meeting nowadays. There we go. So meeting notes, see, I'm in the meeting now. So the bot just pulled me out, called me and pulled me in my meeting, which is actually a pretty cool use case. For some people, it might be very handy. So you're automatically added to a meeting. So we can also do pretty cool other stuff with it, because let's say, for instance, okay, I'm gonna stop this one, and I have I call it my meeting buddy. and we can actually combine stuff together. So the bot can talk to us, but it needs a valid WAV file or a valid audio file. But of course, we have speech to text nowadays. So hello from Microsoft Teams. I will start recording now. I will send this off to the cognitive services of Microsoft Azure, which will do a text to speech for me. So it will render a audio file for me. I will use that audio file and will send it back so the bot will talk what I want to. And then this bot actually, you can pull it. Okay, it's not, that's why I need it to be released, because it's not released. So you can, the cool thing is I can call my bot. The bad thing is I cannot add it to a meeting yet, because that's not released yet. So I can have a one-on-one call with my bot, but the final goal is to have it as a meeting bot. The bot will enter a meeting. It will say hello from Microsoft Teams. I will start recording. It will start recording. And the moment you press the pound key, it will stop the recording and will send you a recording file. So a WAV file of the entire recording, which will be provided by Microsoft Teams. You can have two types of calling bots, but I don't want to get in too deep with that one. But Microsoft Teams will provide me with a recording, because I told it, okay, send me a recording. And then with that recording, I can do whatever I want. I can do speech to text. So I can even say, okay, this is the entire rollout of the speech. Yeah. I think you can have more files, but still, yeah. It's it is. I use the WAV file, but I don't think it's MP3 can be done. So that's a cool one. Yeah, I have to look it up if it's. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's still a WAV file. So I don't get any, because if I do get recording, then this is a get recording, create a file name.wav. So I just get a stream, so I can stream it whatever I want. So that's who I can make something else out of it. So let's see if this one works. Okay, it's running. I have my ng work running. Let's see if I can call this bot. Where is it? On the calling bot. There we go. So I'll put in the breakpoint to be sure there is a breakpoint. Should pick up the phone. Yep. And now it's talking to me. Yeah. Talking to me and saying, oh, start recording. So now, whatever I talk to, it's recording. So if I press the pound key, then it should stop recording. See, so it's stuck on it's stuck on this line, so it waits, because yeah, it waits until the entire call is done. And okay, you can put in a max duration, so I put in 50 seconds just to not overload the system. And then there we go. Now I get this recording file, which is this one, which then I can do whatever I want with it. So with the calling bots, the possibilities are actually pretty endless, I'm assuming. So we'll probably hear more from that once they're really getting released. So we'll see. It's pretty cool stuff. So that was my demo. I see I have a few minutes left, so I'll be fast. A few tips. If you're building, I can't say this enough. So you're building some kind of Teams application, same here. What I usually do, I have my manifest, I have to change something here, I have to remove something. Now, as you all know, like I said, the manifest is a JSON file with some icons in a zip file. So unless I want to do open folder and create a zip file every time I'm doing something or I'm changing something, I can just, let's see, and it's really old school, but it still works. So I can still say, okay, unload this project. Where is it? Where's unload? There we go. Yeah. Save it. Open it up. And we can just edit. There we go. And we just can create an after build task. I put this on my blog as well, so you can reread it. Just simple after build task. You can Google it. It's done like a million times before, but it makes it a lot easier. Every time I click my play button or I click my build button, then I have my manifest as well. So if I go to Teams here and I say, okay, add me an app, manage team, add me an app. There we go. Then normally this should be, now where is it? Say this one doesn't matter. It's also in .NET Core, and it's really, really deep somewhere. Not this one. Where's the other one? probably, and that's typically developer. I have 50 folders. There we go. It's this one. Bin, and there we go. We always have this zip package, and it's always the latest and the latest. See, I just press play once, so it's from a few minutes ago, and we can go and go and go. This makes it a way lot easier to do. Saves you a lot of time. And that was it actually for my session. So I think there's more coming. So for everybody who's join the next European Teams user group meeting, and you can learn a lot. So that was it. I was Rick van Roussalt. That was my session.
Thanks a lot, Rick.
Thank you.
Now I know everything about message extensions.
Yeah.
And the incoming and outgoing webhooks. I'll definitely watch that again. You also started a blog post series about the Teams development, right?
Yeah. To get in really deep, yeah, because I've especially with the NG-Rock thing, I've seen. I was with another MVP, Tommy. We were in Hungary doing a Teams thing for Microsoft Microsoft partners. And even there, the people from Microsoft were saying, you can use NG-Rock, but you have to automatically change the URL always changes and stuff like that. And it's just not true. You have to get a paid license, and it's just not true. You don't have to get a paid license to get a fixed URL. You have to get a paid license to get that fixed URL linked to your account. So let's say I use teamsusergroup.ngrock.io and you use it, Teams user group. Yeah, okay. Then we're gonna have collisions, and then when you're using it, I can't use it. So then I have to pay to make sure that I'm always the one who can use it. But for the other one, it's so, and that's why I'm starting the blog post and to get in deeper and deeper and to just do more and more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and as I said earlier, this is your part 3 of this course in the Teams development. And hopefully we'll get you back and after the summer for some more sessions about this. Yeah,
we'll probably do a deep dive on, because this was an overview of all the things that are there, and there's a lot. So we'll probably do a deep dive for even for smaller things and really go into it.
Yeah, and there will be new stuff released for sure as well.
You can bet on it. You can bet on it.
All right. Thanks again. Laurent, are you ready to go?
Yeah, okay. Let me see if I can share my screen.
Yeah.
Let me see. Who has the control of the screen right now? Okay, perfect. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me see.
Yeah, we can see your screen now.
Okay, perfect. Let me see one thing. I made a presentation, just a couple of slides. Let me see. Okay, do you have it?
We have it. It's all good.
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So thanks, Adam, for the invitation, and thanks everyone for joining my session. I will be talking about Teams in education, a real game changer to empower communication and collaboration in and out of the classroom. And we will see together that the education version of Teams is quite different from the business version, and for me is more powerful than the business version. Before starting, a little bit about myself. My name is Laurent Carlier, and I'm based in France. Former teacher, I'm an educational technology consultant, and I help schools and educational institutions in the adoption of new technology by providing consultancy and PD session about tablets and Office 365 education. I'm also certified MIE expert and MIE master trainers, and also Microsoft Surface master trainers. And if you want to reach me, you can do it by Twitter on @techlaurent or by mail laurent.carlier@digiteam.fr. So before starting to see how it's different, 3 facts about Teams in education. First, why Teams in education? Teams is a great tool to amplify communication, sharing, collaboration, and feedback. And those 4 characteristics are majors for educators and school leaders when they want to develop 21st century skills. And second fact is that Teams suits all technology contexts we can find at schools. Some schools keep the traditional way. They have shared computer rooms. Others are one-to-one tablets. It can be one-to-one iPad or one-to-one Surface. And others are BYOD. And the great thing is that when you use Teams, it doesn't depend on the device you're using. You can access it by online version, you can access by desktop version, and you can access it by app version. And what is great is that everything is synchronized, so you never lose your work. So that was the second part. And the third part, for me, Teams it is also a great tool to help for Office 365 adoption, since Teams is a central hub, and you can do everything into Teams without leaving the tool. You can work on OneNote, you can create forms, you can write on Word online. Plus, you have additional options like audio, video, chat, private chat, Teams chat, and specific storage for Teams. So let's jump in the educational version and see how it works. Let me see. Okay, so if you know Teams, the left ribbon is quite similar from the business version, except you don't have this one, and this is the assignment tool, and we will see it later. First, you have the conversation and private, the private conversation, and private conversation is quite good when you work at schools with colleagues. And I will show you an example. This is Philippe Carré, and Philippe Carré and I had to work on an escape game to end the semester. And since Philippe Carré and I had different schedule, it was difficult to meet each other in a specific room. So we decided to work both on the private channel, and we had a very good work, and Philippe shared me a lot of things in a private channel. As you can see, we can share information, text information, we can share PDF, we can share links, and we can share also PPT. And the good thing is that you have the how do you say the historic version of all the conversation. So it's very good, it's very fast, and it's better than email, because if we did that with emails, then we have to send a lot of emails and a lot of version of documents. And with private conversation in Teams, it really faster the work between colleagues. So this is the first good thing in Microsoft Teams. When you use it at educational context, you have this private chat, and it's good to work with it with colleagues. And the second thing, we will jump it into Teams and Teams creation, and this is one difference from the business version. When you create a team, basically you have 4 types of teams you can create it. You can create a class team, you can create a PLC teams, and a PLC teams is like a community teams, and it's good if teachers want to work each other on a specific subject. For example, biology teachers want to share resources about biology, and they can create a teams for this, and inside the teams they will share resources, and they will discuss about the evaluation, how do they make the test, and how many points they have to put for the test. So this is a nice thing to work between colleagues. And the third one is staff teams, and this is also very good for staff people when they want to share or create information about schools, and you can do it by this way. So let's see a specific class teams, and I will show you one. For example, the French class I have here, the class 4C, and when you create a Teams, it comes basically, and it's quite the same with the business version, except two things. It comes with a specific chat conversation, a specific storage, a specific OneNote, and this is different from the business version. I don't know if you are very familiar with the educational OneNote version. I can show you how it looks when you create a OneNote for your class, and this is the educational version. It comes with 3 spaces. The first space is the content library, where teachers can put all the resources. And for example, let me see, I can show you this one. I'll jump in here. I can put a YouTube video right there on the page, and below I can put a form. So it's good if I want my students to walk alone to see the video, and after they can answer the forms. So you have the contents library, and this is the first space. The second space is the collaboration space. And yeah, I forgot to tell you that in the contents library, it is only read-only for students. So students can move, they can delete things teachers put on the page. In the collaboration space, they have the right, students have the right to write, to modify things. So it's good for to work on project. And below we have I have all my students' name, and this is the portfolio where my students can write on their task. I will show you one example. It was an assignment, and in this assignment, this is Julie, and Julie work on the assignment, and I, as a teacher, I can correct directly in her portfolio. So it's very good to have a focus on the work of students. So this is the let me go back to this, the conversation, the specific storage, the OneNote classroom, and the assignment parts. And then the good thing in Teams is that you can add more things. With the plus sign, you have different options right there. And for me, I had a specific class video channel. And if I click here, I gather all the video I show in my class. So my student can see again the video if they want to. And how did I do this? Basically, is stream right there. And I can have the stream title. And to do this, and we have to, before this, we have to go to Office 365 interface and open Stream. And in Stream, you can create a channel. And I create a channel, and this channel is only accessible to my student, to class 4C students. So it's very good to work on this way. And do a specific video channel for this. So I had a specific video channel, and also I don't know if some of you know this, but in Teams we have a little tool called Poly, and Poly can help you to make some quick poll. And also this is very good to use it. I will show you an example for here. And the question was, when you were young, what kind of job you wanted to do? And we have different answer, and I have the result in percentage. And how did I do this? It is very simple to do this. You have to go to the setting of Teams and the application, and then you had Poly. And then once it's added on the conversation, you have to call Poly, for example, this one. poly, and then you put the question. Let me see. Question, and then answer. For example, réponse 1 and answer 2, and then you press enter. And then normally, okay, let me see if I can. And normally they create the pool directly. Let me see. Maybe I can show you another right here. Okay. Okay, let me see again. Okay, here we go. Then my poll is created automatically, and then students can answer directly in the conversation by choosing the answer. So it's very good to have this very quick tool, very little tool to make some polls, direct polls. And you have the general channel, and then after you can add specific channel. And when you add specific channel, there is no specific rules about this. You can add specific channel by chapter, for me, like I did here, chapter one, or you can add a channel by subject, by semester. For me, I had a channel by chapter, and you can also add some kind of emoji right there. Unfortunately, you can add emoji for general, and this is very sad, but you can add emoji on a channel. And how do I do this? It's very simple. You go to this website, for example, emojipicker.com, and then you select your emoji, and then you copy it, and then you return to Teams. And when you return to Teams, you have the option when you click on the dots to modify the channel. And when you modify the channel, you can add the emoji. So one more thing to do, and it's very good to do this in this way. Let me show you in details the specific channels. The first channel is writing channels, and in these channels, students are different interaction between them, and I will show you two interaction they had, and it's very interesting to use it in this way. For example, I have a text, and in this text there is different past tense using, and I ask my students to guess the rules between those two tenses. And to do this, I just opened the conversation files here, and I ask my students to read the text and guess what is the rules to use this tense and what is the use to use the other tense. And my students talk, and they said maybe it's this way, and other students said no, I'm not agree. I don't agree with that. Maybe it's another way. And what is good to do in this way is that you can focus the conversation in this classroom and outside the classroom. And it's also very good to do this with shy students, because in classroom you have shy students and they don't want to talk in front of the class. And when they have this option, they can give their own voice, and it's not by speaking, it's by writing comments. So that was a first great thing to do, and you can focus on conversation in documents. And the other thing is that I ask them to do some preparation for a presentation for a specific subject, and this subject was the difference between cities against rural areas. And students gather different resources by using tools called Wacolet. I don't know if some people here knows Wacolet, but it is also a great tools, and these tools help you to gather different resources, and it can be PDF, it can be a web page, it can be YouTube, it can be text, and it's very simple to use. If I go to let me show you. If I go to the interface, I'm in the interface right there, and it is very simple. It's a simple page, and if you want to add some resources, you can click on the plus sign and you can add URL, text, YouTube, tweets, image, PDF, and if you have some resources in your cloud, you can also add it. So that was a very good thing to use for my class and students. The second thing is that I create a channel for phonetics, and these channels help my students to work alone on the reading skills and phonetic skills. And how do I did this? I also use OneNote, and in OneNote, I don't know if you know this, but if you have a specific function called immersive reader. I will show you. For example, I have this text. Let me see if I open it. I have this text in French, and I can, and my students also can open a function called immersive reader. And when I open it, I can ask the OneNote to read it. So it's very good to have the proper pronunciation of French. And I can also ask to put verbs in red and adjective in green and adverbs in this color. And also I have the possibility to, let me show you, to have some images here, for example, and for students who are not very confident with their language skills, it really helps to understand the meaning of the word. And last thing is that I can translate it, and if I translate it, for example, in English by words, when I click on the words, I have the image, I have the French word, and I have the translation in English. So it's very good, and it's a nice function if you want your students to work along on phonetics parts. Third channel is vocabulary channels, and for this I ask my students to work on a mind map, and once again, I click on, I had a services here. Let me see, where is it? Called MindMaster. MindMaster. It is on the list, and I don't see it. I don't see it. A master task. Well, you have it, MindMasters, and I will show you how it looks. Okay, here we go. So basically, one more time, we work on the past tense, and I ask students to tell me what were the past habits when they were young. So I put this one, past habits, and all of my students work their past habit right there. So again, it's very good for collaboration, and they can do it in classroom, they can do it outside the classroom. There's no specific time to do this, and it's very good to focus on the learning process, and without to be blocked by time. And the fourth channels here, this is speaking skills, and one more time I added nice tools that educators know very well now. It is called Flipgrid, and basically it is a video discussion platform, and I will show you how it looks. It looks like this, and the purpose was day one, introduce yourself, and my students record themselves, whatever the device they use it, whatever the time, and wherever they were, they just click on the plus sign and record their video. So, and this is all the video I got for my students. And once again, it's very good because shy students can record themselves in their home, and other students who are very slow to answer this task, they can do it at home. They can repeat it. They can do it one more time, and it's very good to work on the speaking skills. Let me go back to assignment, and that will be the last part. In assignment, you can create an assignment, and I will show you one assignment here. And you can give this assignment to the whole class, or you can select another class, so you can share assignments between different classes. And for example, if I stay on the class 4C, you can submit this assignment to all students or specific students. So you have two options to do this. You had a title and you had your instruction there, and you can add resources. And for the resources, you can add it directly from your OneDrive, or you can add from the OneNote, or you can create directly a specific files, and it can be Word, PowerPoint, or Excel. And you put the dates and the points. And the nice thing is that you have the grading option. And what is the grading option? If I click here, and then you will understand how it works. I can create specific criteria for the assignment. And this is my parts. For example, this is a writing assignment, and this is the grammar part, the vocabulary part, and a general assignment. And I write criteria right there, and I can write criteria from excellent to poor. And for each one, I give some percentage. Let me show you how it works. Basically, for example, this one, and I check. So this is the list of all of my students, and Noromi is that they didn't send the assignment, and Julie sent me the assignment. So if I click on Julie assignment, so this is her work, and directly here, this is my grading. And if I click on grading, remember I had grammar, I had vocabulary, I had the whole assignment. So if I click on grammar, and then I can choose directly the criteria, for example, this one, and vocabulary, this one. And for the general part, I can choose this one. And once I'm done, I click finish. And this is the final note, and then send. Okay. Then if I go back to my assignment part, then Julie has this score. So it's very good to use it. And last thing, you can export it in Excel if you want to. Okay, that's it. That was the presentation I wanted to show you. If you want to know more about it, don't hesitate to to contact me, and if you have question right now, then I can answer it.
All right, thank you. A great session, Laurent. And,
okay, thanks.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting to see some educational specific features of Microsoft Teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also nice to see some real world examples of benefits of the third party apps as well. Because I think most people don't use them.
Yeah.
In my experience.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. As I said before, I haven't done much work in the educational area of Microsoft Teams, but I think I'll do a deep dive in it and learn more about it.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It's really growing, and I know a lot of university in France and a lot of schools who are starting to use it because they understand the power of these tools with collaboration and communication, and it's very good. It's very good.
All right, great. Thank you, Rick and Laurent. Great sessions. This meet is recorded, and I'll fix the link and post it on Twitter as soon as possible. Our next meet is on June 27th. Okay, and we have a grand lineup of speakers there, which I will announce shortly. And after July, the meet on July, we need some speakers as well. So just reach out to us. You got our email there, and you can reach us on Twitter as well. And as I said, watch this again on YouTube. I'll post the link as soon as I can. All right. Thanks a lot for attending, Laurent and Rick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And hopefully I'll see you attend once again later on.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
See you guys.
All right. Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.